It passed. House smacks Democrats with possibly the most devastating news they could imagine. Somewhat lost in the cacophony following the House passing an Obamacare repeal-and-replace bill Thursday is the news that the bill achieves an objective desired by conservatives for nearly half a century, the defunding of Planned Parenthood. As Life News reports, the American Health Care Act, AHCA, would eliminate $390 million of over $450 million in annual federal funding to Planned Parenthood, from all mandatory spending programs. The measure also redirects funding to community health centers which outnumber Planned Parenthood facilities and offer a wide array of health care services, but not abortion. AHCA also repeals Obamacare abortion subsidies, adds reforms to give states more flexibility and lower costs, and provides families more options. The bill would close the largest pipeline for federal funding of Planned Parenthood, Medicaid, and it applies as well to the CHIP in the Title V and Title 20 block grant programs. Vice President Mike Pence, speaking before a Campaign for Life event held by the Susan B. Anthony List, announced. The day Obamacare passed was also, it was a day of disappointment for the sanctity of life. But hope is finally shining through. The bill before the Congress actually eliminates Obamacare's abortion expansion and it defunds Planned Parenthood, and keeps the president's promise to devote those resources to healthcare providers that help women without promoting abortion. When this bill passes, it, I believe, will be one of the defining victories for life. Conversely, the bill has outraged Planned Parenthood. Almost immediately after the House passed the AHCA, Planned Parenthood took to social media with what some have called fear-mongering and attempting to scare women into protecting her death organization. However, despite praise from the Vice President and the National Right to Life, and enmity from Planned Parenthood, there is no guarantee that the AHCA will survive in the Senate, where even conservative pro-lifers like Senator Mike Lee oppose it. One of the reasons why conservatives pro-lifers in the Senate and elsewhere might be feeling blasé about the AHCA despite the defunding of Planned Parenthood is that the AHCA only defunds the organization for, believe it or not, 1 year. 1 year, revealed, now we know why DNC staffer Seth Rich was murdered. America is supposed to be free of the politically motivated assassinations common in third world countries and dictatorships, but the left would rather engage in shady acts to maintain power. The Clinton family is a scary family. A recent tweet from WikiLeaks all but reveals that Seth Rich was behind the DNC email leaks and was murdered as a result. Seth Rich was murdered in a supposed robbery late one night in Washington, D.C. While walking home from a bar, Rich was shot multiple in the back. None of his possessions were taken. Seth Rich died a hero and helped save the country from a Hillary Clinton presidency. We should commend this man, because he was one of the few honest Democrats. Seth Rich was a staffer at the Democratic National Committee and was apparently disgruntled after the party nomination was stolen from Bernie Sanders. In the tweet, WikiLeaks provides a link to an email exchange between the hacker Gusfert 2.0, who made the leaks available, and actress Robin Young. In the email, Gusfert 2.0 confirms that Seth Rich was his source for the DNC emails. Robin Young indicated that she believes Hillary Clinton was behind the shooting. WikiLeaks has a strict policy against revealing any identifying information regarding their sources, but WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has hinted multiple times that Rich was behind the leak. Julian Assange appeared on the Dutch news show Nieuwsuur before the election and made direct reference to the murder of Seth Rich. He said, "We have to understand how high the stakes are in the United States, and that our sources face serious risk." In an email leaked after the original DNC leak from the private account of Clinton's campaign manager, but before the murder, John Podesta wrote, "I'm definitely for making an example of a suspected leaker, whether or not we have any real basis for it." Washington police have closed the investigation into the murder and are sticking with the failed robbery attempt explanation. The mainstream media has buried the story. The left has no tolerance for honesty. However, it is clear to anyone paying attention that Seth Rich was murdered by Clinton and her corrupt political machine. It's time to throw her, and her cronies, in prison. Do you think the Democrats murdered Seth Rich? Please share the story on Facebook and tell us what you think because we want to hear your voice. Your voice. Breaking, you won't believe who's ready to load a truck and move to Canada because of Trump. Best news ever. During the presidential campaign, there was no shortage of liberal celebrities who threatened to leave the United States and move to Canada should Donald Trump win. Unfortunately, that promise of a mass exodus never happened as celebrities are more about the hype than the point and would never want to give up what they have going here in America to become all but forgotten. However, that threat didn't just resurface again this week. One Hollywood star might actually make good on it, and all it took was the repeal of the American Healthcare Act as the final straw. The country could become a better place after Friday morning when the announcement that one particular singer is over the edge irate about the passing of this recent healthcare bill. It's only a matter of time now before she packs up her belongings and hightails it to the land of socialized medicine in Canada as she previously promised to do. Of course, her concern is that people are going to die here in America now that the House passed a revised healthcare bill, but not her since she has healthcare. She says that she's just worried for others who have a condition she has. It doesn't matter that there are still several hurdles to jump if and when Trump Care becomes a reality, but this celebrity has had it with a Republican-run nation. Singer Cher hasn't been silent about her hate for Trump and exaggerated fears for our country under his leadership, and now she's using her asthma as ammunition. Who knew such a windbag like her who wastes her breath making so many ridiculous points suffered from a condition that makes her short on air. But I digress. Cher took to Twitter on Friday morning to basically say her farewells to the country that made her famous and blast AHCA, saying its passage threatens to cut funding to treat her asthma, according to Fox News. Speaking in a mix of all capital letters and emojis, the 70-year-old singer sent out a fury of tweets expressing her frustration with healthcare that doesn't directly affect her, since she has other coverage. She said that because Trump Care doesn't help people with asthma or battered women, she's worried about what's going to happen to everyone in the US. Hopefully, this means she finds refuge in Canada as she said she would if he were elected. Now he is our president, and according to her, her worst nightmares of his leadership seem to be coming true. It's really hard to hear millionaire celebrities complain about their grievances with a healthcare bill that has no effect on them. Cher isn't the only one, as Trump hater Jimmy Kimmel, with a net worth of $35 million, has plenty to say in support of socialized medicine as well. Cher could really save herself a lot of angst and fake fear for others, who she uses and her pawns to make a point, by actually moving to Canada like she promised. According to her, she could breathe easier up there knowing there's not someone like Trump in charge. Plus, they already have socialized medicine for the common people, so she would find it really comforting to not have to worry about other people's asthma. She shouldn't have gotten our hopes up that she was going to move, only to decide to stay here and incessantly complain about everything Trump and his administration do. As long as liberals like Cher are going to have bleeding hearts for people, it should be directed at the hard-working middle class who suffered the most under Obamacare. Where was her outrage then? It's no surprise that she saved her tirade for now, since it was Trump who made this change and not Obama, who literally forced his plan down Americans' throats and penalized them when they choked. With her resources and reach, she could really benefit other people, but only uses it to deepen the divide in the country. If Cher really wants to make a statement, she should actually move like she said she would, and hopefully others would follow her lead. Breaking, Macron busted. Trump like upset about to go down. Look what he hit offshore. Mr. Mommy Issues himself, Emmanuel Macron, seems to have gotten himself into some serious hot water just one day away from the French presidential election, where the polls claim to be swinging to a stunning defeat for the Trump-esque Marine Le Pen. Maybe the same way Hillary Clinton had a 93% chance to beat Donald Trump only 2 days away from the 2016 US presidential election? Since we all know globalists always seem to get themselves embroidered into all kinds of shady deals when it comes to the law, especially the tax law. According to the hackers 4chan, Macron has been very generous with other people's money, but when it comes to him, well, typical liberal policy, do as I say, not as I do. Yesterday 4chan dumped enough documents to end Macron's political career. Documents leaked online today seem to point to the fact that Macron entered into an operating agreement for a limited liability company or LLC in, of all places, the tax haven that is the Caribbean island of Nevis. Documents go on to claim that he has also done business with a bank previously involved in tax evasion cases originating from the Cayman Islands. Macron just recently claimed he wasn't concealing any assets or holding any secret offshore accounts. But we all know how globalists are, don't we? And it seems the 15-year-old who married his child-molesting 40-year-old teacher is now threatening to sue Le Pen for calling all this to the attention of the French people during the last presidential debate. The UK Daily Mail reports. Presidential hopeful Emmanuel Macron has filed a legal complaint after his far-right rival Marine Le Pen accused him of holding money in a tax haven. The 39-year-old ex-economy minister described his rival's insinuation as defamation, and after his complaint, French prosecutors launched a probe Thursday into who started the rumor. Macron's campaign team called it a textbook case of fake news, saying it was spread on Twitter by accounts close to Kremlin-friendly news sites like Sputnik and RT, as well as supporters of U.S. President Donald Trump. Ms. Le Pen, 48, later admitted to French television channel BFM TV that she had no evidence to back up her comments but had read about the allegations. It came after fake documents purporting to relate to overseas bank accounts were shared on social media. After accusing the Front National, FN, candidate of defamation on live television on Wednesday night, Mr. Macron, 39, filed a complaint with the state prosecutor about the rumors, claiming that an online fake news campaign had been mounted to influence voting. He said Ms. Le Pen was behind the rumors, telling French radio, "She has an internet army mobilizing," adding that she had spread false information and lies. He also said some of the sites spreading the allegations were linked to Russian interests. An aide for Mr. Macron said the party would sue for defamation if the false allegations were repeated. The dramatic twist came after 15 million viewers tuned into a 2.5-hour debate which was widely regarded